All right, everyone. So let's talk about the 5 best times to summon your shards in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I'll say a couple of things here at the start. First of all, this is the best possible time in order to make this video with what we have going on in the game right now, because we are going to be in the absolute best possible time to use your shards right now, specifically for Ancient Shards. And you guys will see why in a second, but we do indeed have a double rates event that just actually started. You'll see it here in the actual news feed, and on top of that, we also have a champion chase tournament going on at the same time. So we do indeed have not only a double rates event, but very importantly, we also have another event running alongside with it. So this is kind of why I wanted to make this video today. I know I have a couple of other similar videos on the channel, but a couple of things have changed since I ended up making that video a couple of months ago. And also, because we have an event going on, this is another reminder that we are in the absolute best possible time to use your shards, specifically your Ancient Shards. Now, as I get further into this video, some of these things are probably going to be a bit more obvious to those of you guys who've been playing the game for a longer period of time, so this is indeed going to be more helpful towards the newer and maybe more intermediate players of the game, but it is very important to know when the best possible times to use your shards are, because they are going to be probably the game's most valuable resource. This is how you're going to be getting all of your new champions, so when you do decide to use your shards, specifically your Ancient, your Void, and your Sacred shards, it's really important to know when you're going to get the best use out of these very limited resources, because unless you're a whale, you're probably not going to end up getting a whole bunch of these. Now, it looks like I have a bunch of Ancient shards, but I've been saving these up. I have not done any Ancient summons since the last double rates event, which was many months ago. So, you know, if you learn how to use your resources the best way possible, yes, you do have to be patient, but you're going to get a lot more out of them than you would normally get if you just summon them when there's absolutely nothing going on. So let's get into the 5 periods of time when you're going to get the most efficiency out of your summons. And of course, as I just mentioned, we are at the best possible time period. The best time to use your shards is going to be when we have, first of all, a double rates event going on, which we do specifically for Ancient Shards. Very importantly, when they do run these double rate events, they are only going to be for one shard type. So this double rate, this boosted summoning rates, is specifically for Ancient Shards. They will run them for Void Shards, and they will run them for Sacred Shards, but they are at different times, and they are a different event compared to Ancient Shards. So very important reminder, I see people getting confused and summoning their Ancients and their Voids thinking that the rates are doubled, and they are not. Right now, it's just going to be for Ancient Shards. But nonetheless, the best possible time to use your shards is when there is a double rates event for that shard type, and there is also another event running alongside with it. Now, this is very rare. This does not happen often. It is happening right now. If you guys are watching this video really close to the time that it is released, we are in this period of time in Raid Shadow Legends for the next couple of days. We do have that double rates event running alongside with a champion chase tournament. So not only are you going to be getting double the drop rate for your epics and your legendary champions, and you can actually take a look at the drop rates by going to this icon right here. You guys will see that the normal chance for legendary, which is 0.5%, is now up to 1%, and the normal chance for epics is now up to 16% from 8%. And you can compare it to Void Shards because that's what the drop rates are normally like. It's now been doubled. So this event alone is already by far going to be the best one, because it's essentially not quite like this, but it's essentially like getting 2 Ancient Shards for every one that you summon. Now, I say it's not quite like it because for a newer player, when you do summon, even with the double rates event, you're still only going to end up getting 1 champion. So when you summon, it's not like you're going to get 2 rares. Even if you don't get an epic or a legendary, you're still only going to get a rare. But as you do more and more summons, and as you play the game for longer, the rares that you get from Ancient Shards are going to become less and less valuable. For a lot of people, they're just going to end up being food for summoning. So it really becomes about the epics and the legendaries. So for the more intermediate or advanced players, these double rates event are pretty close to pretty much getting 2 summons for 1. As a newer player, it's not quite going to be like that, because you are still going to be able to put a lot of the rares that you get from the summons to use. But nonetheless, this is the best possible time, without a doubt. Those of you guys who have been saving up your shards, I'll say it again, this is an absolutely fantastic time in order to summon them, and it could be many, many months again in Raid Shadow Legends before we end up seeing another really good time in order to summon shards like this again. Now, the last Double Rates event was many, many months ago, but not only do we have a Double Rates event going on, but we also have another event running alongside with it. So that is why this right here, Double Rates and another event with it at the same time, without a doubt, always going to be the best possible time to use your shards in Raid Shadow Legends. Now let's move on to number 2. Now number 2 is similar to number 1, but it's just having a Double Rates event running with no other events. Now this is going to be a bit more normal. We do indeed have these Double Rate events. They seem to happen more often for Void Shards and Sacred Shards than they do for Ancient Shards. But most of the time when we end up getting these Double Rate events, they don't have another event running alongside with them. It's just a Double Rates event. That's a little bit unfortunate because it's always nice to get even that extra added efficiency. I say this phrase a lot, but kind of knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. That's kind of what you're doing when you have a Double Rates event and another event going at the same time. But the Double Rates event are so good compared to the other opportunities and the other times to summon your shards that even if there isn't another event going on, like let's just say if we somehow did not have this Champion Chase tournament going right now, it would still be one of the best periods of time in order to summon your shards. Just because it's such a good event in comparison to the other ones, you get so much extra value and so many extra resources worth for summoning your shards that without another event running, it's still going to be the second best possible time period in order to use your shards. So keep that in mind as we see more of these Double Rate events. Like I said, they've usually been for Void Shards and for Sacred Shards. They've been a bit more rare for Ancient Shards, but nonetheless, they're still always going to be in the top 2 time periods in order to summon your shards in Raid Shadow Legends. It's not until we move on to number 3 that we move out of the territory of a double event running at the same time. And now we have 2 other non-Double Rate events running at the same time. Now this is definitely a bit more common. We've seen this before. This will be something like something along the lines of, let's say, a Champion Chase tournament and then maybe also a Summon Rush running at the same time. This happens. Doesn't happen a whole lot. I think it's actually been a little while. We've been seeing less and less of the Summon Rush events. When the game first came out, it seems like they had them a whole bunch, but lately it seems like they've been focusing more so on the the Champion Chase tournaments and also these Double Rate events, which is fantastic because the Double Rates event is without a doubt going to be the best one by far. But if we don't have a Double Rates event, then any 2 other events like a Summon Rush and a Champion Chase, a combination of 2 of those events is going to be the next best possible time period in order to use your shards. But keep in mind that this is number 3 now. Number 1 and number 2 both involved a Double Rates event running. So even with 2 other events going on, if one of them is not a Double Rates event, this is still going to be, in my opinion, the 3rd best possible time period in order to end up using your shards. Now we move on to number 4, and number 4 is going to be just 1 summoning event going on at the same time. Now this is going to be quite often in Raid Shadow Legends. There's a lot of summoning events in this game now. We have the Double Rates event, again, going to be the best one by far. We have the Summon Rushes. We have the Champion Chases. We've also had those 10 times rate events recently. You guys know I talked about them in a couple of videos recently, like 10 times rates for Gorgorab and whatnot. There's a lot of different summoning events, and especially to those of you guys who are either free to play or you don't spend a lot of money, you're not going to be getting a ton of Ancient Shards to be able to summon on every single one of these events. You're going to have to pick and choose which events in order to use your resources on. Now obviously the more money that you spend on the game, the more you're going to be able to summon and the more of these events that you're going to be able to participate in. But I would say a lot of people who are free to play or don't spend a lot of money, and even somebody like me, I really like to focus in this game being efficient with my resources, not just with shards, but also with things like energy and even gems, which is why I honestly still have a whole bunch of them. I like to be as efficient as I possibly can, so I like to save for this first time period right here. I always like to summon when there is a Double Rates event going on, and hopefully with another event going alongside with it. I always wait, even for number 3, Number 4, I still don't summon during those time periods, but those of you guys who maybe you're able to spend more money on the game, or you're not as picky with being as efficient as me with my resources in Raid Shadow Legends, this will be the 4th best time period in order to use your shards. Now, in terms of which events are better than the others, it's really going to depend a lot on the actual rewards. It also kind of depends on the shard type as well. I feel like Ancient Shards are probably actually a little bit better lately for the Champion Chase tournaments, because for Summon Rushes, they only end up giving you 20 points in comparison to 120 points from Void Shards and 500 points from Sacred Shards. But again, a lot of it is going to depend on the rewards. You know, if there's a bunch of legendary books being offered as rewards for an event, obviously I feel like those kind of get a little bit more prioritized compared to events that don't really have really good rewards. Also, the 10 times rates for champions, like we had the one with Gorgrab. I'm not really a huge fan of these because they don't actually increase the odds of getting legendaries or epics. These odds right here, they only go up during these double rate events that we have right now. With the 10 times rates that we have had a couple of them recently, the odds don't actually end up going up. They stay the same at 8% for epic and 0.5% for legendary. So I'm personally not really a major fan of those, but that's just kind of my personal list of how I see the different summoning events. Without a doubt though, always number 1 is going to be double rates, which we have going on for Ancient Shards right now. And number 5 is an obvious one, I think, after everything that I've mentioned, that leaves just one choice left, and that is going to be no events, no bonuses, just using your shards when there's nothing going on, and all you're going to end up getting at that point is just the base summon rates of 91.5% for an epic, 8% for, 91.5% for a rare, 8% for an epic, and 0.5% for a legendary. So, you know, if you guys are a whale or you just don't really care about any of the events and you just want to summon, that's totally fine. Of course, you're not going to get any extra added benefits or resources for using your shards, but that's going to be in last place right there. It's just summoning when absolutely nothing is going on that's going to give you a bonus for your shards. So I wanted to talk about this, especially with the double rates event that we have going on. Another friendly reminder towards the end of the video that we are in this time period right here. Number 1, we have a double rates event going on for Ancient Shards, and we also have that Champion Chase tournament. So this is, without a doubt, whether you're free to play, whether you're not free to play, going to be the best time to use your shards in Raid Shadow Legends. So thought that I would kind of go over this, give you guys a little bit of information on the best times to summon. And with that being said, that is going to be it for this video today. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I'm really hoping that you guys enjoyed. I know I have a bunch of shards right here. I see we are at 200. I will probably be doing a summoning video either tonight, tomorrow, sometime in the next couple of days. I don't know whether it's going to be live or not. I'm still working on the details because I still have to free up a whole bunch of inventory space in order to actually do this, but that'll definitely be coming before the summoning event ends. I can promise you guys that. With that all being said though, that's it for the video today. Thank you guys for watching everyone. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel for more, including that really big summoning session. And if you want to help out, tossing a quick like means more than you can even imagine as well. Have a fantastic day everyone, take care, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.